Midterm elections have huge stakes, not only for the future of immigration, taxes, but also the future of security, social media, and technology, how it all plays into the election process. Dan Patterson is the senior producer with CNET and CBS News. Dan, we are glad to have you with us here today.
Good to see you, Karen.
Thank you. All right. You have been immersed, of course, in the election coverage here for us. And some of the things we want to break down here, the talking points, starting off with hacking, of course. You've written so much about this, looked into this so much. What are the biggest vulnerabilities as you see right now?
Well, the cybersecurity space, when it overlaps with the election security space, is fascinating. There are almost as many vulnerabilities as there are hackers. Through the course of the last 10 weeks in the run-up to the 2018 midterm election, we've covered everything from election and voting machine flaws to critical infrastructure, the dark web, and different types of malware that's being deployed in states ahead of the election. One thing we have not found, however, is evidence of clear interference. So it's fascinating to see all of the potential threats and not a ton of evidence of actual implemented attacks.
And when it comes to this in preparation, Dan, of course, everyone is scrambling to do what they can, to be out in front of this. And some states, it seems, are doing better, though, than others.
Well, states everywhere are shifting from mechanical voting machines to different forms of digital voting machines. And with that, of course, comes a number of security flaws and vulnerabilities. Of course, Tech Republic's Alison Dinesco-Rayom has covered the flaws and vulnerabilities that exist in various states. And we see the federal government working with various state, not just governments, but voting precincts to make sure that election vulnerabilities are taken care of before we go to the polls.
And do you see, it's been fascinating, Dan, to see how social media, kind of flipping the script here, how that has played into elections and with candidates. What are you seeing this time around here with the midterms, how social media is playing into things?
Well, social media may play the largest role when it comes to election hacking. Once again, if it can be hacked, it probably will be hacked. However, the most vulnerable system might be our brains. We call this cognitive hacking. And what happened in 2016 were a series of what we refer to as influence campaigns. This is using social media to spread propaganda, misinformation, and what we called at the time fake news. These influence campaigns can have a profound impact on inflaming or at least motivating some voting blocs while tamping down or dampening the interest of other voting blocs. We know that the Russia's IRA and the GRU in 2016 phished Hillary Clinton Chairman John Podesta's email, as well as almost 100 other Clinton campaign staffers. They exfiltrated data, fed that data to WikiLeaks and other organizations, and used that to not just attack the Clinton campaign directly, but to power their influence campaign. So this uses bots and trolls on sites like Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and it also helps actual users become more impassioned about the issues that may motivate them to what we call GOTV, get out and vote.
All right, certainly have to, the election employees and those that are on the campaigns certainly have to stay on their toes. Dan, as we're looking forward here to wrap up going to the next 2 years, as we're looking forward to that with the election cycle, what do you see will be on the forefront in terms of what we're going to be talking about, some of the issues?
So we'll certainly talk about machine learning and artificial intelligence. However, that will probably be in the context of automation, meaning the types of cyber attacks that we experience today will likely be automated and deployed at larger scales. So this could be anything from malware to DDoS attacks to phishing deployed, not just crafted phishing accounts that we call spear phishing, but phishing at mass scale. So using automation and AI to send hundreds, thousands of emails with the intent of hacking accounts and exfiltrating, gaining, or downloading sensitive data that is inside your email account. We'll also see technologies like the Internet of Things play a role, not only in the data produced by IoT, but likely in voting machines. These machines are essentially computers, and once again, if it can be hacked, it probably will be hacked. As more and more voting systems come online, they will, of course, be more and more vulnerable. It is undoubtable that we will continue to see influence operations, not just here in the United States, but around the world. Of course, we know that Saudi Arabia now has a history of paying people pretty good money, about $3,000 a person, to create fake accounts on Twitter. We know that China deploys influence operations in regional political adversaries. So it's undeniable that social media will also play a big impact.
All right, Dan, thank you so much. And for more on Dan's coverage, of course, you can check out cbsnews.com/election hacking.